Hello, hola, bonjour. Tune in every Tuesday to the Dear God podcast.
¿Y qué pasó?
Nah, we talking like it's 1995. Let go of that Wi-Fi. Let's laugh and cry, but never say goodbye. Que lo que, and welcome, bienvenidos to the Dear God, Are We There Yet? The podcast con tu prima favorita. Soy Alicia Sanchez, and yes, this podcast is bilingual. Ahora, Dear God, in this context, for my movement is whatever or whomever you want it to be. It can be the universe, religious God, Buddha, self, nature, lo que sea para ti. Dear God, Are We There Yet? Is a lifestyle community of question seekers. The goal is simple: to empower thought-provoking conversation, share happiness, and encourage each of us to never stop asking questions and having conversations that matter. The power of helping people help people with one conversation at a time. Why? Because we need it, you guys. Our friends and families need it, and the world needs it. Ya tu sabes. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel every single week, and where I talk about self-growth, budgets and business, and the passion to empower others. Ahora, let's talk like it's 1995. Now, I know that you guys have been tuning in, and I was just, before I was recording this podcast for today, I was like, wow, I'm so grateful for all my listeners listening out there. Muchísimas gracias para todo el mundo. Oh my God, I te doy tanta gracia y un abrazo, un fuerte abrazo con arroz, habichuela y carne. And if you're vegetarian, arroz, habichuela y ensalada. Without you guys listening, it has been a journey, and I love the fact that the podcast is growing in slowly, and that's the whole point of anything consistent is slow growth, because we have dedicated listeners como ustedes that come on either the day that this comes out or the day after or the week after, or maybe you're just catching up on some of your favorite episodes from other podcasts. So thank you guys again. I'm always going to say thank you because the whole point of the Dear God, Are We There Yet? Is these questions and conversations. And today's podcast is, I'm your guest Jay, brought to you by, no tengo sponsors todavía, pero está bien, so está bien. Today's show is something I want to talk about the curiosity, and dear God, is the curiosity the key to a fulfilling life? Because we read all these things and we talk about them, about happiness and the pursuit of happiness and what does that look like. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about this, and I know we've been having amazing guests lately, and really, really, what's really good about it is that every time I have someone on the Dear God show, I'm always learning something from them, and I hope you guys are able to learn something, and not even if it's just that, but spark these conversations and questions in a setting where people will say, hey, do you know about this, or have you heard about this? And you're able to, kind of remember these conversations with these guests, or hear me, whatever I have to say. So I was reading an article, and I've been, I'm always curious about, talking about curiosity, right? I'm always curious about learning new things. It's something about me that I love to learn new things, and I'm not one to be gullible per se. And let me just back up what I mean by that. If somebody tells me that the sky is green, I'm going to be like, well, I'm not going to believe it's green just because you tell me it's green. I want to either see it for myself or try to come up with my own facts to see, what it is. And we live in a society now that a lot of people are gravitated to just believing what is said or what is maybe seen or not seen. And we're losing that sense of curiosity in this, in fulfilling our life and fulfilling what we need and what will make us happy. And so I was reading this article, and I started looking at it, that I started taking, a step back and saying to myself, well, children, from birth, babies alone explore their surroundings like crazy, right? We have an entire industry in the baby industry, and if you have a child or you've ever done shopping for a baby shower or whatever, and you're like looking like, oh my gosh, they have every baby proofing that anyone can think of, but they also have things for children or babies for their senses, to touch, to see, to taste. and quite frankly, to experience the world around them. Because remember, they are new. I mean, we are all new. We are all experiencing these different senses. And so children, and you can just go back to you when you were a child, we have these capabilities that we develop our sense of wonder per se through this expansion of knowing like the unknown, it's like an adventure of knowing who, my friend was telling me the other day, she's like, her son literally finds the most dangerous thing in the house or in the room, and it gravitates to him. Like, it's like he knows that that's like the most, most dangerous thing, and that's his curiosity. That piques that attention, for him. Shout out to my baby boy Kai, Malachi. But yeah, so as kids, we have this great interest in, and an unbridled desire to know more and to discover where does that lead us. But then as adults, what happens to us? Many of us lose this sense of discovery for many reasons. It's because life happens, right? We get older, we have bills, we have work, we have school, we have a family, and we get so busy looking for answers that we forget to ask questions out of the fear of the unknown, or maybe because we don't want to disrupt our routine, or maybe because we are just too busy dealing with our daily lives. So quite frankly, we're playing it safe, which prevents us from being overwhelmed and creates a predictable environment. You know what I'm talking about. This predictable environment where we're just like, well, I'm not going to do this because I know that the outcome most likely will be doing this. So this will keep me in my predictability, the things that I can control. And so again, we have this sense of control that now we're playing it safe, and it's not needed at this time, and it doesn't foster the discovery of new things for us, or build these skills of resilience that challenges us and teaches us, because we're quite frankly avoiding these situations that provoke anxiety. And sometimes, we say we may be protecting ourselves from discomfort, or we're also, we end up missing a key aspect of vitality from our own lives, because we're just like, I'll give you an example. The guy next door, I'm just giving an example, not my guy next door. I'm just giving an example. But, he has a passion. He wants to do that, that construction, and he wants to build tiny homes or whatever the case he wants to build. And, he's playing it safe. He doesn't want to do it because, he just knows that the roller coaster of how income will come in, or, they're based on one income, and there's all these fears that are coming up, and he's not really discovering new ways of how to still do his business, because he's just stuck on that one way, is that, okay, I have to quit my job in order for me to, do my business or to be successful. I have to sacrifice all this and blah, blah, blah. And right there in all of us, right? Think about it. Whatever's going on in your life right now, think about what is it that you are self-sabotaging in that curiosity. I mean, it's the joy of learning, and that is the part of the curiosity of knowing what are the ways. Hay mucha pregunta que nosotros no nos hacemos. Entonces nosotros preguntamos, yo no voy a hacer eso porque fulanito lo hizo ya y no le hizo bien, no le fue bien, entonces yo no lo voy a hacer. O la cosa está cara, no está como el anterior, en los 1980, cuando la cosa estaba barata. And, and we start creating all these like excuses, and we're already debunking, we're already like putting a stopping point to our curiosity. But our curiosity is the joy of learning something. That is what it is. It's when we're a baby and we're crawling towards those, that electrical outlet, which we don't know that it is dangerous. We see it like, oh my God, look at those 4 circles. They look so cool. They look like an animal or lo que sea. But they're learning something new is like, it's one of the most strongest influences of how much enjoyment we as humans experience on a given day. Like, think about it. When we're learning something new, we're automatically excited. When we hear something, when we read something, when we reflect on something, our minds are already heightened, because now we're opening our minds to something. Now, I want to stop real quick and talk about what I mean by, the strongest influence of how much enjoyment a person has from this, discovery of learning new things. Take this in consideration. We're not talking about debates, okay? Discussion, disagreement, wrong or right. It has nothing to do with being wrong or right or disagreements or having a debate. Whatever that crap is, it has nothing to do with it. And it's not really crap, but you know what I mean. It's nothing to do. It's not, the focus is not on how the delivery and how are you going to be compatible to know whatever this information, to speak eloquently about it, or to prove a point. That has nothing to do with it. The whole point of it is opening your mind to understanding something new, whether someone agrees with you or not. I don't agree with a lot of people, and a lot of people don't agree with me, and that's okay. Now I have a really a strong conviction of how I feel and how I think about things, because I am not someone who someone will say, well, do this and you're going to do it. No, I've never lived my life like that. I guess that's why when I left, my home, I always wanted to discover the world and see the world, because, deep down inside, people were like, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And look, me, Alicia, ya tú sabes, lo que yo quiero hacer, yo lo voy a hacer. Es mi vida. Like, that's my attitude, right? Like, I'm going to do me. So sometimes in our lives, we're not asking ourselves these questions, and it limits us from fulfilling our life and, like we say now, living our best life. For real, And so I say in this entire podcast, and what I've learned is, like, what is the best way to keep your curiosity alive? And this whole topic is entirely aligned with the Dear God, Are We There Yet movement. And I keep reiterating why I have this movement, this podcast, the YouTube channel that's, whatever, working on it. El Instagram, Facebook, Bookface, whatever. But it's through conversation and questions. And I always say to people when they're like, whatever inspired you to Dear God, Are We There Yet? No es la razón que tenemos la respuesta. It's not the answers, okay? It's the question and the conversations that need to be spoken about. It's the questions and conversations that are going to pique your mind to something else. It's going to develop a spark in your mind. It's going to say, wow, I didn't think about that. It's going to make you say, wait, what? Which is the number one thing that you should be thinking about when you're wanting to understand curiosity. When you ask, wait, what? Or ¿qué? ¿Qué lo que? Like Dominicans, ¿qué lo que? Right? When you ask this, you're expressing interest and a desire to learn more. This question is like essential for understanding and clarifying. Wait, what can you clarify again? Are you asking the what in our lives? The what behind it? But the what is this coming from? The where, the how? But the what? Wait, what? Could you repeat that? So you're trying to say that this works this way, but tell me why you think that. I was in a social situation a couple of weeks ago, and I turned to my wife and I was like, people don't know how to freaking interact. She looked at me. She said the same thing. She's like, this is incredible. I can spark a conversation with anyone, and it has nothing to do with because I'm an extrovert, because people that really know me, I am an extrovert, but I do have introvert tendencies where I like to be alone, and I like to, because I'm so like 0 to 100 real quick. But I noticed in this social element that if people didn't have their phones with them, they didn't know how to spark a conversation that is besides, look at the weather. Or what is your zodiac sign? Well, and this is the part that the curiosity is, we're losing that curiosity. Is whether if you're pick up your local newspaper, or you read something on a sign, or you wonder, like, I always say this, okay, this is going to sound like a stupid question. I always start my stuff like that when I'm speaking to someone, or I'm not understanding, or maybe I heard something, but I'm like, wait, what? You could do that? Huh? Dime, how did you do that? Like, how did you buy a house for $0? Tell me how you flipped that house, da da da. Like, I want to know more, and it's not to know more to be better or bigger or prove anything. It's not to be a better debater or to disagree on what are right and wrong or proving a point about the, presidential election and who did what and who, how, and whatever. It has nothing to do with that. By the way, I'm the worst person with politics, so I'm not even going to go there. But my point my point is to discover this curiosity in your life that's saying, are you asking, wait, what? Are you, am I taking the time to consider, what we're going to do about something before making up my mind? Instead of someone saying, well, if you do this and you do that and you do that, you just boom, you'll have $1 million, or boom, you'll have the perfect life, or boom. And guess what? When you don't ask, wait, what? ¿Qué tú crees que piensas? ¿Qué tú crees que va a pasar? What do you think is going to happen? You're going to be doing stuff, and your life is going to be full of decisions that other people made, and you're not really making your own decisions because you're just going based on, what someone else said. Now, I am a jumper, if that makes any sense. I'm a jumper, and when that means is that when I have an opportunity or I feel passionate about something, I usually jump and I'm like, boom, I'm going head for it. And I've changed so much in many years, and I'm still that person with that jumping effect, but I'm a little bit more reserved where I think about it a little bit more strategic rather than my 20s. I used to just jump, and I think it's because I'm getting a little older, which is totally fine, which is great, but I'm still asking the what. One, because I'm nosy and I want to know, but two, it's because I just have this control aspect that I just don't want to believe what the regular schmo Joe is going to tell me. And I'm not doing it to be debateful or disagreement or right or wrong or to prove a point. It's more to just that sense of, understanding, like, okay, I need to understand this a little bit more. I need to stop and be like, is this really right for me? Am I forcing something? Like, esto no está para mí. But how are you going to know if something was for you if you're not asking the question, wait, what? Another one that I want to point out is, because I'm trying to make the podcast pretty short today, is I wonder if and why. This is like, this keeps you curious on so many levels when we start saying, I wonder if or why. I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I'm like in my, and my wife and I, we're like Pinky in the Brain in a way. We do it just because, I think we do it. One, I'm Dominican and Cuban. She's Cuban. So, we're always coming up with something or doing something. Which is not always a bad thing, but we don't always do what we're going to say we're going to do because we're just there in our minds, but it makes our minds keep asking, I wonder if we did this, or why does the world do this, or where is this coming from, or why does our culture do this, or why is the government, what is the deep underlying issues behind the reason of why the government is doing this? Because everybody's everyone's a puppet in government, but that's another podcast. But these why things are the way they are is exploring possibilities and scenarios of how certain things can happen. Instead of saying like the regular schmojo that wants to do that construction of the tiny home, instead of saying, well, I don't have any money, I can't lose my job, so I'm not going to open my account, I'm not going to open my business. He's exploring, well, I wonder if I could work part-time with the place to understand the business of tiny home, and I wonder if I could do this, or why should I possibly do like garage conversions or something, small, before. This is the part of fulfilling our lives in happiness. Honestly, like, think about it, you guys. Like, piénsalo bien. If we're asking ourselves all these differences and we're asking and exploring question after question, we're already opening up conversations, because it's not about the answers. It's not about the there. It's about the now. It's about how you grow as a person to want to understand and explore something. Because if you say to yourself, well, I don't want to travel. I just don't want to travel. Because I don't want to travel. Okay, well, why you don't want to travel? Oh, because I don't want to travel. I don't want to be this and I don't want to be that. But wait, you travel to like, Disney World. That's a different place. That's traveling. So why wouldn't I open up to And again, I'm cutting off as I speak because I want you as a listener and in this whole Dear God Are We There Yet movement is to really think about the best questions that help us rethink what we already know and not take what is for granted. Because someone tells you something, you should still ask why, and you should still wonder more. I know for relationships, we all get mad. Like, when you're married, they always say that you're like that honeymoon kind of goes away. I mean, absolutely. Everything it does gonna go. It's gonna go away to a certain extent. Because there's phases and there's growth in your relationship. Even if you're married, if you're not married, even with your children's gonna be completely different from when they're your child's gonna be different when tienen cinco, and then when they're 10, they're gonna be completely different because they're growing. And that's how all relationships are, marriage, business, everything. And so that curiosity of fulfilling your life comes from that why, wait, what? Or it comes from that I wonder if and why. We don't do these questions enough in society because we're so afraid of, people not agreeing with us and thinking everything is a disagreement or a debate. And that's not the focus. The focus is it's okay if somebody doesn't agree with you. It's okay if somebody doesn't understand what that is. But the focus just to be curious together in many elements of whatever it is. If it's your business, if it's your family, if it's you want to be curious of how to save money in your family and you're trying to think about budgets, and you're just like, oh gosh, I don't want to attack these budgets, but how could I start budgets? Or I want to save money for a house, but I don't know, it just sounds so overwhelming. I need 20% down. Like, how is that even going to be possible? If you're not asking yourself those questions, and in a home is something important to you and it's part of your fulfilling your happiness, guess what? You're just going to be, way up, you don't have 20%, está bien, está todo, bye. You want to travel the world and you're like, oh, that will never happen because I don't have no money or I don't have the time. Then guess what? You're not asking the right questions. So we always talk about what's the pursuit of happiness and finding the fulfilling, the key to a fulfilling life. And it is curiosity. It is that it is that key element to discovering something in your brain that's going to allow you to keep going and keep going. And so I thank you guys for listening to the podcast today. I tried to keep this as short as possible. I haven't even been keeping track how long it is. So if you're still listening to the podcast, thanks. But that's the whole point with the Dear God Are We There Yet movement is those questions and those conversations. And every time I talk about them, I always get passionate. In fact, I used to almost tear up, and I almost used to have this little, when your voice shakes, you're just like, because that was my passion speaking. Now I can just talk about it. But there are so many questions out that we need to pique people's attention. And there's so many conversations that matter that need attention too. And they're being drowned out or buried by things that are irrelevant or situations that are basically non-existent, if that makes any sense, if you catch my drift there. These questions and conversations start with us and they need to be spread. And so, dear God, are we there yet? Yeah, the there is now. And I cannot wait to bring to you guys all the different elements of the Dear God Are We There Yet movement. And I know it's an ongoing process and it's not going to happen overnight, but I know that the curiosity I have of what I can do bigger with this movement is what makes me excited and passionate. And so you should do your own research, and then ask yourself, dear God, is curiosity the key to a fulfilling life? Until next time, you guys, muchísimas gracias for tuning in, and I will see you next Tuesday where we have a special guest. And if you want to be on the show, go ahead and email us at hello@deargodarewethereYet.com and check out our YouTube channel where we have those videos. I'm gonna do better. Adios.